we're looking at our productions for the wells during February. It's almost 7 million gallons, 6,997,000 gallons produced by the wells in February, or about 250,000 gallons per day produced by the wells. The equivalent customer consumption of 480 gallons per day for service connection, 521 connections. You can see that it's less than last year, and one of probably the primary reasons is because we can't count customer leaks this time of year because we're not reading meters. Last year was much older, longer. We had a creek cold snap in January. Pretty much of the water systems we managed, all of them were less this year because it was just a short time and not an extended cruise like we have had sometimes in the past. It's 2 million gallons less than it was a year ago. But it's still a little bit more than it has been in previous years, such as 2 years ago, 6,883,000 gallons. And then 3 years ago, it was 6,399,000 gallons. And then 4 years ago, it was 5,054,000 gallons. And you kind of see how it goes down from there. 5 years ago, 5,992. As we look at these numbers, keep in mind our old lines in Ferry State Park are still active till we get that new valve stop in them. So it's running concurrently with our new lines there. And as mentioned previously, we did find a leak at well 8, and the valve outside of well 8 has actually been off this winter until we can get the contractor back out there to make the necessary repairs and to bring it back online. Because we don't want anything to blow out. If the well comes on, gets higher pressure, we don't want it to kick out of the valve and have a worse leak. We've got it out from that. And that's mentioned under number 1 under water system items. It's been shut down there. We have already been doing number 2 under water system items. We have been doing some projects and repairs as schedules allows. If we're able to work around the load limits, we've got a couple meters replaced, so we've been able to do that. And the sewer system production, those are the same numbers as you've seen from the past. 50,000 gallons per day in the summer and 70,000 gallons per day during the winter months. I'm anticipating we'll be able to get up there pretty soon now. It's just a mud bog at this point. Certainly we should be able to get up there and check things out.
We need to get that harness.
What's that?
We need to get that wiring completed.
Yeah, I'll go into that in just a minute here. Let me see. I'll get that number 4 item on that. Okay. We did pump 2 septic tanks in the past month. We're waiting for, as Jesse knows, quite a few more. We're waiting for load limits to come off because the issue is not so much taking a load out of here. The issue is they have to transport up to Bonner Ferry and they have load limits up there, so their big tankers can't do it. And it makes no sense to run 500,000 gallons up there. It doesn't, even from an economic standpoint, it doesn't make any sense for them. So we're waiting for that. On the ones that are non-emergencies, we're waiting until the load limits come off. We have had some pumped. In fact, the 2 that are on there are one of the more emergent nature. They're backing up. Got taken care of. Jesse, I believe the installation of the inlet risers and septic tanks up on the main agenda again.
We don't have much movement, but we can discuss on the board action item list section. We follow up in that section.
Sewer triplex pump number 1 update. The pump is supposed to be in right around April 14th, 15th. RC Worst, and so then we'll schedule it there. We do have one issue that RC Worst is working with, and that is their safety. If we were much more stringent than they were years ago when they pulled this out in 2008, they've got overhead lines there. RC Worst wanted to get Barnhart Crane in there to pull it up through the roof, and they're saying, not that close. We're not going to be shutting down our customers for 8 hours while you do it, because that's what they want to do. So, what's that?
Here at our triplex?
Yeah, triplex, yes. So they're saying they're trying to get something worked out to where they get the pump pulled without affecting customers for 8 hours of having to disconnect lines or something like that. Because these days, they say their safety standards are much more strict than before, and they kind of turned a blind eye to it many years ago when they did these things.
Do we have power lines over the pump station? That's a bad idea.
Yeah, is there anything we can do about that?
I don't know, I'm waiting to hear back. RC Worst said they would get back with me as to what they're working on with Good Electric.
Did the service lines over ours or Good Electric's main lines?
I think it's Good Electric's main lines.
Should not be hanging over the building and blaming.
It is, I mean, I don't know how close it is, but they're saying we have a much stricter standard in terms of space there.
Because people have died.
Yeah.
It's a bad thing.
So, anyway, we hear back from them on that. Okay, and then for a quote on replacing the wiring, Tim, they haven't got a quote to me yet, but Tim Guy sent me a message, so I'm gonna look it up here and just read you what he said in regards to a possible estimate. Okay, as I asked him, he said there's no easy way, and again, this is not a message to me, he said there's no easy way to do an estimate, that's because of the varying issues. This is how Travis is electricity explaining to me. Travis says 2 to 3 days of work, there's lots of different kinds of issues that need to be fixed. There's at least one direct burial cable that's going to have to be dug up and replaced. There are some valves that will not work and need to be replaced. Of course, they wouldn't do the valve part, that would be RC Works. Travis says to be safe, we would probably, if you want to look for a figure, he said less than 15,000. Travis says about 10,000, but let's play it safe, say 15,000. One of the things we're going to have to watch there is if it's any of our new valves that have gone bad in there, there may be a wiring issue that we'll have to go back to the installer to put that in.
Wiring changes?
If they didn't seal it right and it caused water to get in the motor and that caused it to fail. So that's what we're going to have to look at. But anyway, that's where we're at and what they've got so far. They can't actually give us a hard, firm number because they just don't know what all they're going to find, other than the fact they did mention one direct burial cable and other wiring behind the cab.
You better talk about when they get on this one.
They wouldn't be able to do it next week, but the following week, it's if they can get up there. That's the main thing, is getting up there.
But the main thing is get it on schedule for April
Right.
or May, so
Right,
we don't get into June and then.
right. So I don't know if we need a motion, some kind of authorization of the board to get them up there, rather than then get them up there and they say, well, they think it's going to be 2 days instead of 3 or whatever it is.
Would that help? But what authority do we have?
Well, I don't know. We
Nature and mud.
Right, I know. The only thing is, I guess the question mark is, do I have the authorization to bring them up there and say go for it, or do we need?
No, we need to pass a motion
Right.
saying spend up to 15 grand.
Right,
Has anybody been up there?
not yet because it's been so boggy with mud and too. And they need to be able to get. I mean, I have a 4-wheel drive truck, but they have a van that may not make it through some of those mud holes. So.
Yeah, we need to get them up there as soon as we can. So it's going to take some time for them to replace the wiring, and how many trips are there?
Right,
We're talking 2 or 3 days, so.
that's what it. Yeah,
So maybe not that much time.
Yeah.
Why not plan on doing it in April and giving the authorization to proceed?
Is there anything that we have on what the agenda was that we could do that now? I don't think we do. We'd have to have a special meeting. Jesse would to be able to vote and get authority authorized. We don't have anything on it.
Yeah, we would have to have an agenda item for the board to make any action
Well,
or
wait a minute.
decision.
Item
Yeah, we do have more.
there. We'll get to it. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's
Don't-
wait till we get to that on the agenda.
Have a
And we'll go from there. That is pretty much my report.
Before we move on.